While Timberlake is undoubtedly a major pop star, some might find him unfamiliar as an international artist. However, with the globalization of K-pop evidenced by Jungkook's recent remix collaboration with Justin Timberlake, one never knows when their favorite artist might pop up in a surprising collaboration. With that in mind, I thought it'd be fun to explore Timberlake's concert stage, which I recently attended. For those curious, I got my ticket for $39 in the back rows, which came to $61 with fee. Justin Timberlake was the breakout star of the boy band NSYNC, dominating the scene with his charisma and unique talent. Transitioning to a solo career, Timberlake achieved phenomenal success, becoming a textbook example for idols considering a solo path. The phrase, "if you want to go solo from a group, you'd better aim to reach Justin Timberlake's level," has circulated widely among fans. Of course, his career hasn't been without its controversies. His relationships with Britney Spears and Janet Jackson sparked some incidents that even his fans found hard to defend. Nevertheless, Timberlake reached the pinnacle of both his singing and acting careers, cementing his status as one of America's quintessential multi-talented entertainers. While his popularity has waned somewhat compared to his peak, it's undeniable that he's still a powerful force in the industry.
He's one of the biggest stars in the world. He can sing, he can dance, he can act, he's funny.
Today, I want to share some surprising highlights from Timberlake's concert that left me genuinely impressed. Honestly, my decision to attend was impulsive. I clicked the buy ticket button just because his name alone drew me in. I figured, it's Justin Timberlake at the very least, it'll live up to his reputation. And with that lighthearted mindset, I found myself at the concert. Something completely unexpected happened on the day of Justin Timberlake's concert. Around 5 p.m., just 2 hours before the concert was set to begin at 7:30 p.m., the event was canceled.
He injured himself. To be rescheduled? Check his Instagram. No, it only happened like 2 hours ago.
Situations like this are rare, especially for a superstar like Timberlake, who has a massive fan base. Many fans travel from other states or even other countries to see him perform, often booking flights and hotels for the occasion. Given that hotels frequently don't offer refunds unless there's a natural disaster, sudden concert cancellations can cause significant inconvenience for fans. For parents who hire babysitters to attend such events,
FBI, open up!
the abrupt cancellation is equally frustrating.
It should be up there now. It's definitely up there. It should be up there.
As of like 10 minutes ago, right?
They literally got to postpone an hour ago. So
We literally thought we all came to work.
Like we found out, we came out an hour ago to tell
We drove
everybody.
over 2 hours to get there.
It's just unfortunate.
I checked like all the websites.
So he posted something about like an hour and a half ago.
Leaving kids at home alone can result in legal trouble, so hiring a sitter is a necessity. For me personally, the frustration was compounded because I was dealing with a ticketing issue right after the cancellation was posted. About an hour before the concert was supposed to start, I couldn't download my ticket online. This led to a lengthy phone call with the ticketing website's support team. Looking back, I now realize I was on the phone right after the cancellation had been decided. Yet, the staff member I spoke to never mentioned that the concert had been canceled while helping me resolve my ticket issue. When I arrived at the stadium and found out the concert had been called off, I was completely blindsided. It felt like being hit with an out-of-the-blue shock. After all, not every fan constantly monitors a star's social media for real-time updates. Had the ticketing company said something like, "We see you're calling about your ticket, but we need to inform you that Justin has just canceled and delayed the concert," it would have saved a lot of people from unnecessary trips. Instead, many fans, including myself, arrived at the stadium only to be greeted with the news of the cancellation. Needless to say, there were plenty of angry fans at the venue.
It was Bob's night out. What the hell?
They got babysitters.
While I understand there were likely unavoidable reasons for the last-minute decision, the frustration stemmed from how it was communicated. Justin Timberlake announced the cancellation on his social media just before the concert was set to begin. Followers who actively checked his updates knew in advance and could avoid making a pointless trip to the venue. However, many others, especially those who don't use social media, were left in the dark and ended up traveling all the way to the stadium.
There's an injury that is preventing him from performing. We are working together to find a rescheduled date as soon as possible.
After heading home disappointed from the canceled concert, I called the ticketing company to ask about the rescheduled date. They didn't have an answer at the time, leaving me wondering if it might be delayed by a few months. Luckily, the new date was announced shortly after, and it was only a week later. Relieved, I prepared to head back to the concert venue exactly 7 days later. On the ticket, the start time was listed as 7:30 p.m. However, when 7:30 came and went without the concert starting, I was a bit taken aback. At other concerts I've attended, the show either started on time or, at most, 10 minutes late. This time, though, the opening act wasn't Justin Timberlake, but a DJ who took the stage at the scheduled time. I later learned that at most major concerts, it's common for opening acts or DJs to perform first to warm up the crowd.
All right, my name is Andrew Heights. I will be your DJ.
With the main artist taking the stage later. While I understood this after the fact, what happened that evening was still unexpected. I'm not sure if this is typical or if it was an exception that night, but the DJ's set seemed never ending. When the delays dragged on, I asked a staff member about the schedule. That's when I found out that Justin Timberlake wasn't set to perform until 9 p.m.
That's what time the actual show starts, but Justin Timberlake doesn't come outside or come out until 9 o'clock.
And would go on until 11 p.m.
11.
As someone attending one of his concerts for the first time, I was caught off guard by this unexpected timeline, especially since none of this was mentioned when I purchased my ticket. If it weren't for the fact that this was Justin Timberlake, the artist behind Can't Stop the Feeling, a global hit that topped the Billboard Hot 100 in 2016 and was featured in the Trolls movie soundtrack, I might have left after the DJ's set. Or if it weren't for Sexy Back, with its powerful beat that ruled the Billboard Hot 100 for weeks, I probably wouldn't have stayed. I would have gone home. I was annoyed by the rescheduling drama and the seemingly endless DJ set, but the moment Justin Timberlake made his grand entrance on stage, all my frustration disappeared, as if it had never happened. His first words to the audience were, "I'm sorry."
I'm sorry. Jersey, I'm sorry.
But what exactly was he apologizing for? Was it the last-minute cancellation and rescheduling of last week's concert? Or was he showing the mugshot to the fans after recently making headlines with it? Just a few months ago, Timberlake was arrested for driving under the influence, leaving behind a legendary mugshot that circulated widely. Now, back on his album tour, he addressed fans in Chicago for the first time since the incident, saying, "I know loving me can be hard sometimes, but you keep loving me, and I'll keep loving you just the same." Of course, fans are probably hoping he'll make it easier to love him moving forward. But when faced with the apology of a dashing, charismatic middle-aged star, the audience didn't hesitate to collectively forgive him. The thunderous cheers welcoming Timberlake nearly brought the venue down. At that moment, I gained a bit of insight into why people often say that, in our appearance-obsessed world, inner beauty often gets overlooked. Let's be real, if it wasn't Justin Timberlake, with his impeccable looks and polished demeanor, would the audience have so readily accepted such a shy and remorseful apology? It's hard to imagine. From my perspective in the crowd, even the action that warranted an apology seemed to be carried out with the awareness of being good-looking.
Real Jersey girls get down on the floor like
But then again, maybe that's part of the charm that keeps fans so devoted to him. Whether it was due to the rescheduling or Justin's various controversies at the time, there were quite a few empty seats at the concert that night. Maybe that's why some of us in the back rows were invited by the staff to move closer during the show, and I was one of the lucky ones. I must have left a good impression as a model concert goer in the eyes of the staff. When purchasing my ticket, I opted for a seat in the back due to financial constraints. But even from the nosebleeds, I was laser focused on the stage, my eyes sparkling with excitement. My enthusiastic cheering and constant movements, desperately trying to get a better view, must have caught their attention. I imagine the staff saw me as a devoted Justin Timberlake fan because, out of nowhere, I was handed a ticket for a closer seat. From the artist's perspective, I can only assume that empty seats are glaringly obvious, especially in the front rows. Perhaps that's why the staff decided, even mid-concert, to move some back row fans closer to fill the visible gaps. In my section alone, about 5 or 6 people were brought forward. As we moved down to the lower level, some fans were crying tears of joy, while others screamed in excitement. The collective energy was electric as we descended toward the stage. I couldn't believe it. This kind of thing never happens to me. It felt like I should have bought a lottery ticket that day. Maybe it was because I came with no expectations and an open heart, but luck seemed to be on my side. It was truly a day to remember. After being moved to the front section, I was thrilled to finally see Justin Timberlake moving across the stage with my own eyes, not through a telescope or on the big screen. There's definitely a difference between seeing someone on a screen and seeing them in person. From this vantage point, I could also see the amusing exchanges between fans trying to get closer to the stage and staff members attempting to hold them back. Fans in the front rows, even though they already have great seats, are always trying to inch closer to the star. Those seated in the back tend to give up and settle for watching the screens. But front row fans go to great lengths to get just a little closer. It's not uncommon to see people leaving their seats and crowding into the aisles. The staff are trying to keep the aisles clear for safety reasons. "Please stay in your seats. Please keep the aisles clear," the staff would call out repeatedly. Suddenly, I felt a push from behind as a fan shouted, "Justin!" and shoved past me to get closer. At first, I didn't understand what was happening. Justin was still on stage at that moment. But soon, I realized what the fan already knew. Justin was about to step off the stage and come into the crowd. His devoted fans, well-versed in the concert's flow, seemed to anticipate his every move, and in the ensuing chaos, I was pushed even closer to the action. What unfolded before me was heartwarming. Sometimes white people seem to age more noticeably in appearance compared to other races. There he was, walking among the crowd like a king gracing his people, radiating charm that made it hard to guess his age. Despite being a white man in his 40s, Justin's fresh and youthful appearance was striking. The roar of the crowd was deafening as he moved through his adoring fans, basking in their excitement. At that moment, I truly understood why people can't stop talking about Justin Timberlake. As he descended from the stage and passed through the sea of fans, the staff's calls for "Order, stay in your seats, clear the aisles," were drowned out by the ecstatic cheers. The sheer energy of the crowd was contagious. Caught up in the fans' joy and enthusiasm, I was also thrilled. It was a moment of pure, shared excitement, one that will stay with me for a long time. There's no reason a male singer can't have a soft falsetto, but it's rare. Justin Timberlake's voice, often delicate enough to be mistaken for a female vocalist, is nothing short of remarkable. His signature tone, which defined NSYNC's main vocal class, remains as captivating as ever. Perhaps this is why, despite past controversies that shook his reputation, Timberlake continues to command trust and admiration on stage. To be honest, I was a bit skeptical before attending the concert. With his reputation for a mischievous bad boy image, I half expected him to coast on his fame and deliver a mediocre performance. But I couldn't have been more wrong. From start to finish, Justin gave his all, pouring his heart and soul into every song and dance. As someone who enjoys energetic performances, I've sometimes found American pop concerts a bit underwhelming. Even when attending shows by other famous pop stars, while I could appreciate their strong live vocals, I often felt something was missing. I'd leave thinking, that was good, but it didn't give me chills. After a few such experiences, I started to think soulful pop concerts just weren't my thing. Justin Timberlake's concert, however, completely changed my perspective. The perfect combination of captivating choreography, powerful singing, and creative stage design kept me engaged the entire time. There wasn't a single dull moment. Watching him glide effortlessly across the stage with his long legs, moving rhythmically to every beat, was mesmerizing. One highlight was a performance under a giant falling dice-shaped structure, where Justin and his incredibly flexible dancers created a visually stunning spectacle. It was a feast for the eyes and ears. Thankfully, on the night I attended, Justin was laser-focused, with bright, determined eyes and a genuine sincerity in his performance. It was clear I had picked a great night to experience his show. I felt lucky to witness such a well-prepared performance, one that gave the audience a truly meaningful experience. To conclude, I hope Justin Timberlake stays out of bad headlines and remains healthy in both body and mind, continuing to captivate us with his fantastic performances on stage and in films. As someone who attended his recent concert, it has only made me even more eager to see more of his performances in the future. And that's a wrap for today. Your support, likes, comments, and subscriptions keeps this journey going, and I truly appreciate it. Just like a seagull catching the wind, I'm always chasing the next exciting story to share. See you in the next video for more unexpected turns and unforgettable moments. Until then, take care and stay awesome.